Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that logo! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Alright, it's Memorial Day, and some of us lose sight of Memorial Day. We tend to forget the reason we celebrate Memorial Day. Now, Memorial Day is when we honor and remember the men and women in any of the 5 branches of the U.S. military who are no longer with us because they made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. I personally know some people who that had family members who served in the military and were killed in battle, and this episode's for y'all. So before you I hope that while y'all were grilling hamburgers, hot dogs, and steaks, and boiling crawfish, well, down here in Louisiana, just remember that we wouldn't probably be able to do any of that stuff if it weren't for these great men and women who make the ultimate sacrifice for us, so we may live in this country. Now America still has a long ways to go. I mean, we're far from perfect. But I thank these men and women who laid down their lives for us. There's a Bible verse: "No greater love than a man who will lay down his life for a friend." And all I have to say is I thank these men and women, and all the families of these men and women. To all the men and women who served in the U.S. military, who made the ultimate sacrifice for us, those sacrifices are not in vain, and they never will be. Alright, on a much lighter note, in a few days, I'm going to do episode 256 of the Comic Hero Show over at the Bossier Parish Library. They're having their BPL Blast-Off, which is the kickoff to their summer reading program. I'm one of a few guests that are going to be there. And the first 20 people that come up to the table will get free stuff, and I'll let you know what that free stuff is. But for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, in the last episode I asked true or false: Kamala Khan, the current Ms. Marvel, is a mutant. Well, the correct answer is false. She's an Inhuman. Now, there are differences between Inhumans and mutants. A mutant is someone that's born with a mutant gene, but it becomes dormant until they become of age, and then their appearances and their powers start manifesting at that time. Now, an Inhuman is someone that's born with an Inhuman gene, but they need a little assist. Now, a person born with an Inhuman gene becomes a full-blown Inhuman when they're exposed to chemicals called the Terrigen Mist. But the correct answer is false. Kamala Khan is an Inhuman. And 10 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Justin Sanchez from Waco, Texas. Congratulations, Justin. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a DC question. Kind of gave away the answer for you. Who is the only comic book character to age in real time with their publication? Everyone who answers correctly been entered in a drawing for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Now, the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown segment is usually reserved for viewers to request fights. But every so once in a while, I like to request fights, and this one features 2 psychics in the same universe that that have so much in common that they've even swapped bodies. Representing Marvel, we have Psylocke. And also representing Marvel, we have Quantum. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Psylocke versus Quantum. Psylocke possesses telekinesis, telepathy, precognition, is an expert martial artist, and the ability to construct weapons made of psychic energy, usually in the form of a blade. Quantum possesses telepathy and psionic blade generation. Who will win? This will be until the end, a psychic sword fight. Quantum will show more aggression since she and Psylocke are no longer one and the same. This would soon prove to be her downfall. Psylocke, thanks to her precognition, knows every move Quantum takes before she takes it. After minutes of jousting with psychic swords, the latter purposely lets her guards down and leads Quantum to believe that she's about to win. Then, at the last second before Quantum beheads Psylocke, the latter delivers a chop block to the former, followed by a vicious heart punch. Psylocke wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed that fight, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, correction on two things. The next drawing for a free tee will take place on episode 257 of the Comic Hero Show, and the next Throwdown Showdown fight will take place on episode 257 as well. And another thing I want to say, episode 256 is actually going to be a split edition episode where I'm going to do part of it over at the Bossier Parish Library for their BPL Blast-Off, and the part of it right here at Uncharacteristic Studios. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Alright, there are three things I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking. The first one is the news of Robert Pattinson being casted as Batman. This doesn't really sit well with a lot of folks. Personally, I think he'd make a great Bruce Wayne. As far as Batman, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how I feel about him playing the role of the Dark Knight. But this is pretty much... now, one thing I'll say about DC. DC, in terms of comics, has been killing it for a little over 3 years. When they did Rebirth, they finally figured out what to do, and for the most part, everything since then has worked. Now, on the small screen, they've delivered since, 2001 with Smallville. Smallville was such a great hit, and then Arrow came later, and then The Flash, and then for the most part, Supergirl has been pretty good. Well, honestly, I don't know about John Cryer playing Lex Luthor. I mean, Lex Luthor with a beard, no. But as far as the small screen, the big screen goes, well, they've only had 3 very good hits, and I'm talking about Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam. Now, as far as the rest of them, not so much. Now, you could probably make an argument about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel movie from 2013. I personally didn't like it for only one scene that ruined the entire movie, and that's Superman killing Zod. I mean, we all know Superman doesn't kill. And why he allowed that to happen in the movie, I don't know. And then Justice League, well, let's just say that bringing in Joss Whedon to clean up for Zack Snyder after the deaths of his daughter, I think we deserve so much better than that, because I mean, I'm not throwing any shade at Zack Snyder, because when you lose a daughter, you lose a part of yourself. I mean, you lose a child, you lose a part of yourself. But I think we all deserve the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, just like we all deserved the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 a little over a decade ago, which we finally got. And I like that. And honestly, I like the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 a lot better than the one that came out in theaters, that was in which Richard Lester was given full credit of. But anyway, I kind of compare, with the exception of Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam, I kind of compared the DC Cinematic Universe to a 2-year-old toddler. And I say that because there are times where they just don't know what to do. They come up with all these irrational decisions. Whether it's casting, whether it's the script, whether it's directing. The only good thing about these movies is the music. But as far as everything else, with the exception of Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam, it's just not good. And DC needs to be a lot more rational about the decisions they make on the big screen. All right, now Robert Pattinson playing Batman. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, here's the second thing. Robert Downey Jr., Jon Favreau, and Ming-Na Wen are among a few that are going to be accepting the Disney Legends Award. Now these three people that I just named, rightfully so, because Robert Downey Jr. has killed it as both Tony Stark and Iron Man from the first Iron Man movie from 2008 to Avengers Endgame that just came out last month. And then Jon Favreau is both as a producer, actor, and director. Favreau, of course, plays Happy Hogan in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He also was a producer on all 3 Iron Man movies, and he directed the first 2. And not only did he direct those 2 movies, he also directed a lot of great Disney movies. He's directed The Jungle Book. I think he directed Pete's Dragon. I'm not sure if he did or not. And I'm not sure if he directed The Lion King, but Jon Favreau is just as good an actor and producer as he is a director, so rightfully so. And Ming-Na Wen has pretty much reinvented her career through her role in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She has been killing it ever since the series started years ago, and my hat goes off to all 3 of these people for this honor. Congratulations. All right, now the last thing is the news of an old Marvel favorite coming back to the bookshelves, and I'm talking about Power Pack. Now, Power Pack was a series that starred Alex, Julie, Jack, and Katie Power, who were these 4 kids that had these extraordinary powers, and it was a monthly series that ran for Marvel from 1984 to 1991, and I'm not sure if it's a mini-series or a monthly, but it's going to be written by Louise Simonson with art by June Brigman, and honestly, I can't wait for that to come out. That's going to be a great series. Now, the only way that the Power Pack has made, they've appeared throughout Marvel over the years since the book's cancellation in 1991. Alex Power is a member of the Future Foundation, which is the school within the Fantastic Four school for children, and then Katie Power has appeared in this book called Avengers Academy. Now, as far as Jack and Julie Power, they haven't really been seen that much. But if the only way that all 4 of them have been seen is if they've been in a few team ups with Reed and Sue Richards' son, Franklin, aka Powerhouse, and really looking forward to Power Pack hitting the bookshelves again, and it's going to be awesome. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now it's time to get to the books I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up, is the Immortal Hulk number 17. The Amazing Spider-Man number 21. Aquaman number 48. Batman number 71. Justice League number 24. Superman number 11. Teen Titans number 30. Uncanny X-Men number 18. The Superior Spider-Man number 3. The Superior Spider-Man number 4. The Superior Spider-Man number 5. Captain America number 10. And finally, The War of the Realms number 4. Alright, that's 13, which brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 9,353. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for episode 157. Who is the only comic book character to age in real time with their publication? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on episode 157, and congratulations to Justin Sanchez from Waco, Texas, who won a free tee on this week's episode. Alright, right in front of me are the cups that I'm going to give away at the BPL Blast-Off at the main branch of the Bossier Parish Library in Bossier City this Saturday. And on the front of them is my main logo. And on the other side are my parting words. Be safe, be blessed, be a hero. Again, first 20 people who show up at the table I'm going to be set up at will go home with not only these cups, but also car stickers. And I'm encouraging anyone that's coming out who has a Comic Hero tee, if you're in the area, please wear your Comic Hero tee. I encourage it. Really, I just want to go ahead and say this. I want to thank my friend Felicia Sweeney for referring to me to be a guest at this event, and I want to thank Katie Millsap for inviting me to this and listening to Felicia. Very humbled by this. I'm humbled whenever I'm invited to one of these functions because I just love, especially when it's the summer. I mean, when it has to do with reading, because comics are a form of literature, and they really don't get the due diligence that they deserve. I mean, when a lot of folks think of comics, they just, some people avoid them like the plague. But I'm going to paraphrase something that LeVar Burton, who's actually going to be a guest at GeekCon later this summer, once said. If your kids love superheroes, then darn it, buy them comic books. And at a young age, I started learning a lot of words through reading comics, and a lot of words that I wasn't really taught in school, and that helped me to be able to express myself a lot more. And then when I use certain words, a lot of these people are like, "Wow, you sound so intelligent." I said, "Well, I'm not real. Well, I am a smart guy, but here's the thing. Whenever I'll learn a word, growing up, I always looked it up. and you know, that's what you have to do. I mean, we need to encourage our children to start reading, and it is any form of literature. It can be a book at the library. It can be comics. You know, we as adults need to encourage our children to learn more, to read more, and that's pretty much what I have to say about that. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on the Comic Hero. I'll see you this weekend for episode 256 over at Split Edition over at the Bossier Parish Library, and then right back here at Uncharacteristic Studios. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.